The yellow taxi glided through the glittering evening streets of New York City, its tires humming softly against the asphalt. Inside the back seat sat a woman who looked like any other tired civilian heading home after a long day. She wore a simple yet elegant red dress that gently hugged her figure, her shoulder-length dark hair falling loosely around her shoulders. No uniform, no badge, no sign of authority. Captain Sarah Johnson was on leave, and tonight she was not. A high-ranking officer of the NYPD, she was simply a sister going home to attend her younger brother's wedding. The taxi driver, a middle-aged man named Mike with tired eyes and a worn-out shirt, glanced at her in the rearview mirror. He had no idea who she really was. "Ma'am, I am taking this route for you," he said politely. "Otherwise, I rarely use this road." Sarah looked up from her phone, her sharp eyes softening with curiosity. "But why, brother? What is the problem with this road?" Mike sighed deeply, his knuckles tightening on the steering wheel. "Ma'am, there are some police officers stationed on this stretch. The sergeant of this area, he issues tickets without any reason. He extorts money from us taxi drivers even when we haven't made a single mistake. And if anyone dares to argue or disobey him, he beats them up. I don't know what fate has written for me today. God forbid I run into that sergeant right now. He will suck money out of me even if I'm innocent."
This can't be happening.
Sarah listened in silence. Her face remained calm, but inside her mind, questions burned. Is this really true? Does a sergeant in my own department abuse his power like this? She had dedicated her life to protecting citizens and upholding the law. If what Mike said was true, it was a cancer that needed to be cut out. The taxi moved forward. A few minutes later, Sarah spotted them. Several uniformed officers standing on the roadside, checking vehicles under flashing blue and red lights. At the center stood a bulky, stern-faced man in his early 40s, Sergeant Tom Davis. As soon as the taxi approached, Sergeant Tom raised his hand aggressively and signaled it to stop. The driver's face turned pale. Sergeant Tom marched to the driver's window and barked, "Hey, cab driver, get out! Do you think you own the road, driving like a maniac? Have you no fear of the law? Pay a $500 ticket right now." He pulled out his ticket book with dramatic flair. Mike's hands trembled as he spoke. "Officer, please, I haven't broken any rules. Why are you giving me a ticket? I don't have that kind of money. I have done nothing wrong." Tom's face twisted with anger. "Don't argue with me.
Please,
if you don't have dollars, why are you driving a taxi? Show me your license and registration. Is this taxi even legal or stolen?" Mike quickly handed over the documents. Everything was perfect. Valid license, up-to-date registration, insurance. But Sergeant Tom tossed the papers back dismissively. "Papers are fine, but you still have to pay. Give me $500 now, or at least $300, otherwise I will impound this taxi immediately." From the back seat, Sarah watched everything with burning eyes. She saw a hard-working man being harassed for no reason. Her blood boiled, but she stayed silent. She wanted to see exactly how deep this corruption went. Mike begged desperately, tears forming in his eyes. "Sir, I have only earned $50 today. I have small children at home. I work day and night to feed them. Please have mercy." But mercy was not in Tom Davis's dictionary. In a fit of rage, he reached through the window, grabbed Mike by the collar, yanked him forward, and shoved him hard. "If you don't have money, why drive a taxi? This is my area. I rule here. Come on, I'll show you real fun at the precinct." That was the breaking point for Sarah. She stepped out of the taxi with graceful authority and stood between the sergeant and the terrified driver. "Sergeant, you are doing something completely wrong," she said firmly, her voice steady and commanding. "The driver has not violated any rule. You physically assaulted him. This is a violation of the law and civil rights. Let him go right now." Sergeant Tom turned to her with mocking laughter. "Oh, now this lady is going to teach me the law? You have a big mouth. Looks like you also need a taste of the cell. Both of you are coming with me to jail." Sarah's face flushed with anger, but she controlled herself. She wanted to see how low this man could stoop. Sergeant Tom had no clue that the woman in the simple red dress was none other than Captain Sarah Johnson, one of the highest-ranking female officers in the NYPD. "Take both of them to the station." Tom ordered his team. 2 male and 2 female officers roughly grabbed Mike and Sarah and pushed them into a police van. At the precinct, they were forced to sit on a hard wooden bench. Sergeant Tom sat at his desk like a king. His phone rang. He answered with a smirk. "Yes, your work will be done. Your name won't come up in that case. Just have my payment ready. Don't stress. I'll handle everything." Sarah's jaw tightened. Not only on the streets, he takes bribes inside the department too. She turned to the trembling Mike and whispered calmly, "Don't panic. This sergeant cannot do anything to you. I have seen everything. I will expose him completely. I am not an ordinary woman. I am Police Captain Sarah Johnson. I am quietly watching so I can gather solid evidence against him." Mike looked at her in disbelief. "Are you really a captain, ma'am? Then why didn't you stop him earlier? Are you with them?" Sarah smiled gently. "No, Mike. I am sitting quietly so that when the time comes, no one can save him. Just trust me." A few minutes later, Sergeant Tom called Mike into his cabin. "Give me $300 or I will destroy you and your family," he threatened. Terrified, Mike handed over his hard-earned $200. Tom took the money greedily and said, "Now, send that woman in." Sarah walked into the cabin with fearless confidence. "What's your name?" Tom demanded. "Why do you need my name?" Sarah replied boldly. "Speak for yourself. Why have you called me here?" Tom was stunned by her courage. "Don't act too smart. Give me $200 right now, or you will rot in jail." Sarah's voice rose with moral strength. "I will not give you a single penny. You are not enforcing the law. You are breaking it. This uniform is not for scaring and extorting citizens. It is for protecting them. What you are doing is a crime," Tom exploded. "Lock this woman in the cell right now." Officers dragged Sarah to the holding cell. She stood inside quietly, her eyes burning with grim determination. She knew the real battle had just begun. Soon, a black SUV stopped outside. High-ranking city official James Wilson stepped out, anger etched on his face. He stormed into the station. "I heard a woman has been locked up." "Show me immediately," he demanded. Sergeant Tom, still confident, took him to the cell. "Here she is." The moment James saw Sarah, he shouted in shock. "What have you done, you fool? This is Captain Sarah Johnson, our city's police." "Captain!" The ground beneath Tom's feet seemed to disappear. His face turned deathly pale. She is the captain? I had no idea." Sarah stepped out of the cell with cold authority and narrated the entire incident. The illegal stop, the extortion, the physical assault, the bribe, and how she had stayed silent only to collect evidence. Within hours, the police commissioner and chief of police arrived, the station filled with high-ranking officers. The commissioner looked at Tom with disgust. "By what authority did you detain and lock up a senior officer? Demanding bribes and harassing citizens is a federal crime. Immediate investigation is ordered. Criminal charges and suspension will follow." Sarah gave her official statement. Mike also recorded his testimony. Internal Affairs examined body cam footage and station records, revealing dozens of similar cases of extortion by Sergeant Tom Davis. The next morning, as golden sunlight filled the station, a convoy of senior officers arrived. Tom's face turned white with terror. Handcuffs clicked around his wrists. The commissioner declared loudly, "Put Tom Davis behind bars right now. This is the fate of those who betray the uniform and the people they swore to protect." As Tom was dragged away, broken and defeated, Sarah stood tall. Mike came to her with tears in his eyes and folded his hands. "Ma'am, you saved my life. And my family today." "God bless you." Sarah smiled warmly. "This was not just your fight, Mike. This was for every ordinary citizen who suffers silently under corrupt officers. Justice has won today." She walked out of the station into the bright morning light, her red dress glowing like a symbol of courage and integrity. Behind her, the police department had received a powerful message. No one is above the law. Moral of the story: truth always finds its way. Courage and patience can expose even the deepest corruption. When those who wear the uniform forget their duty, someone like Captain Sarah Johnson rises to remind them that real power lies in justice, not in fear.